He's the Director of Education Advocacy at the Southern California branch of the American Civil Liberties Union. Alan serves as an attorney for student plaintiffs regarding the implementation of the Williams versus California case. The Williams case, which was filed in May of 2000, addressed iniquities in the California education system. However, violations of the case's rulings have been and are present in many schools across the state. In fact, as a writer for my school paper, last year I reported on such violations in my school's sports program and associated student body program. Alan's work has been extremely important in enforcing equity in California schools and preserving every child's right to education. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Brooks Allen.
Good morning. Really happy to be here with you guys today. It's a little warm, so if everyone wants to stretch, take a moment. I'm going to try to talk a little bit about today what Pam discussed earlier, which is how do we look at what is happening in your local community, what is happening in the state of California with respect to the right to education. When we think about the right to education, the right to have a book, the right to really have life opportunity, and the right to actually succeed in our society, to get a good job, all of these things are tied to the opportunity to actually learn. All the things that you all have had the opportunity to do, just by virtue of the fact that you're here before us today, tells us you've had that opportunity. So how is it that you ensure that all members of our society, all members of our community, both here and abroad, have that type of connection, that type of opportunity that allows them life opportunities, breaks cycles of poverty, and really allows folks to achieve their dreams? And as I'll talk a little bit about today, and you see this when I gave you a brief overview, which I won't go over in detail, about how in the United States and in every state in our union, all 50 states, we have, at our best, when we have formed our ideals, we have entrenched the right to education and free compulsory education, going back to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, in our state constitutions. So if you go look at every state constitution, from California to Mississippi to New York, Maine, Hawaii, all have a provision that speak to the fact that all students are supposed to be entitled to a free public education. Hold on one moment, let's see if I can get the slide. Okay. Sorry. Technical things are always fun. Let's get back. I'm sure many of you are much better at this than I am. So when we talk about what the fundamental right to education is, in the United States or in the state of California, when we speak about what's a fundamental right, that means that it's a right that is protected at a higher level than even other rights that are in state statutes or in state constitutions. This means when you go to a court of law and ask them to enforce and to protect your rights, they have a much higher level of what we call scrutiny. So they look at it much more carefully to see if that right has been violated. And you'll see that in the California Constitution, and this is what I talk about when we speak about our ideals, we speak about that a general diffusion of knowledge and intelligence is essential to the preservation of the rights and liberties of the people. So at our best, we recognize these things. Now, whether we actually put these into practice is something that we'll talk about a little bit later. And so under the California Constitution, public education is uniquely a fundamental concern of the state. It prohibits maintenance and operation of the common public school system that in any way that denies, and this is key, that denies basic educational equity to students.